All right, 27. Make sure I'm on a pin. So 27 says a bald eagle snatches a fish from a lake. Right, Jordan? It snatches a fish from a lake and flies to the altitude of 256 feet. Okay? The fish manages to squirm free and falls back down to the lake. Okay? Its height in h can be modeled by ht, or the function of h with respect to t, or time, is equal to 256 minus the 16t squared, where t is time in seconds. How many seconds will the fish fall before hitting the water? So how do we set this up? What this is based on is if I shot the fish out of a cannon, right, it would create this parabola before it came back down to the ground. Okay? Just like any gun. Any gun is actually a parabola. Just most likely you're shooting level or less than level, it still goes and hits the ground at some point. But if you shoot it up, like we used to have to shoot cannons up so that they would hit our mark, right? So we'd have to figure out the parabola that it's going to create. That's this idea. Okay? So it's creating this parabola. If the fish is squirming out of the eagle's claws or mouth or whatever he's holding it with, right? He's at the highest part of the parabola. Does that make sense? Okay? And so at that point, how long before he gets to the bottom? Okay? So if he's at the highest point, so he's here, right? How long before he gets to the bottom? Well, we would set that equal to how far he is, how high he is. Okay? So, what is the point here? Okay? And in this parabola, it would take as long to go up as it would to go down. Does that make sense? So what we're really going to do is find this distance and find it for the other direction of down. Okay? So figure out the time. So at what point is this slope
dropping?
Yeah. So we want to find at equals to 0, right? So when is he going to get back down to 0? Right? So we're just going to set up h of t is equal to 0. So then in that case, it's pretty simple. We're going to come over here. We're going to set up zero is equal to 256 minus 16 t squared, right? Yeah. So a lot of people in this case would move this over. I'm going to move the minus 16t over. Does anyone have an idea of why I would do that? Well, it's really simple. It's because I want to keep it positive. Right? So now I'm going to divide by 16. And so I get t squared is equal to what? How many times does 16 go into 256? $16 goes into 25 once. Which leaves like a lot left over. 16. Yeah. Okay, so t squared is equal to 16. How am I going to solve for that? Right? Well, we do our trusty dusty plus minus square root. But what we do to one side, we do to the other. The square root gets rid of the square, so t is equal to plus or minus the square root of 16. Now, in this case, you guys know that that's 4, right? So it's plus or minus 4, right? So it's going to take 4 seconds. Okay? And that's what we're doing, right, Jordan? Because you got all this copied down. You're solid. You got this. So notice you were really paying attention in the beginning, and then kind of lost track all the way through. Okay? It's not going to take negative 4 seconds, right? But the negative 4 seconds is taking into effect the 4 seconds it took to go up, in essence, before it fell down, if it was shot from a cannon. Okay? So, the next one, we do the same thing. Okay? I'm going to divide by 4. This is when it gets a little fun. Okay? I'm going to divide by 4 and divide by 4, and I'm not going to change it this time. Okay? Because x squared is equal to 81 over 4. I'm not going to figure out what that is, because when I find the square root, right, then x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 81 over the square root of 4, which is plus or minus 9 over 2, which means x is equal to 9 over 2 and negative 9 over 2. Okay? So x could be plus or minus, the square root of 81 is 9, the square root of 4 is 2. Okay? Now remember, we used to, I was trying to show you this last year, the upside down division. You pull out a 3 and you get 27, you pull out a 3 and you get 9, you pull out a 3, you get 3, pull out a 3, you get 1. And then we circle our pairs. We get 3 times 3, which is 9. That's how you find the square root. And there's none left over, right? Because there's nothing left. You can do the same thing with 4. 4 broken down is 2 times 2, which is 2 and 1. So you got a pair here, which is 2. So that's how you can find your square root. And the reason I'm showing you that now is because sometimes the square root isn't perfect. In this case, it's going to be. So in this one, I'm going to add 9 and add 9. So I get 36x squared equals 9. Then I'm going to divide by 36. Divide by 36. I get x squared is equal to 9 over 36. And then I'm going to find the square root, which is x is equal to the square root of 9. So plus or minus, what's the square root of 9? Square root of 36. Okay? Or x is equal to 3 over 6 and negative 3 over 6, which is what? What is 3 over 6? X is equal to 1/2 or negative 1/2. That's how you find that. That's it. Simple. Okay? And that's the homework for today.